Okay, I had to change software. It wasn't recording anymore, the sound. Thank you for telling me before it goes further in the class. So let's go first. First of all, don't worry. I saw you art. You're good, so you'll have no problem. You just have to be, to understand a little bit more the terms. If you never played video game, that can get tricky. That's true. So let's go first thing, the level. What does it mean? Now, I always go to vgmaps.com right here. All right, so I can look at samples of levels, 2D levels. You're doing a side scroller, so it's going from left to right or right to left. Okay, so let's go to the Super Nintendo, for example, and I'm gonna go to. Hold on a second. Um, so I'm gonna go to Contra 3 Alien Noir. It's a sample in your lecture, so you should understand like that. See, Contra 3 Alien Wars has 6 levels. They call them stages at that time. We call them level now most of the time. Alright? A level is, you click on it for example, is a complete set basically of play. Alright? You have to go destroy one main boss. Okay, so you have to go, see, from left to right, and the main boss is at the end right here. Let's see. See, that's the complete level. So you go like that, and you'll have opponents right here. All right. That's a complete all the way to the end where you have like a fire level too right there. You go through it by jumping on stuff, and then you land right here and kill that boss right there. That's a complete level. You have mini bosses in between, which has achievements basically of finding stuff, and you get the main final boss at the end, and in between you can get weapons, reloading weapons and stuff like that. You see there's another enemy, that's a mini boss right there in between. So that's how it works. Okay. um, we are going to create that for the next 2 weeks. So we're going to create the tiles, we're going to create the backgrounds, we're going to create, the main character. That's what you're doing right now for the next 2 weeks on top of that. So now you're supposed to do a level that is made of 5 frames. Let's say this is a frame right here. All right, and it stops right there. That would be one frame of 640 by 480, and then you would have a second one right here and a third one right here, all the way to 5 frames for you. They obviously have more than 5 frames. There's around 15 to 17 frames in their work, but because you're alone and you have only 2 or 3 weeks, I made it smaller to 5 frames. So, and then the character basically has to go from left to right and fight stuff and figure things up and maybe even jump on platforms and so forth. Okay, so I hope you understand the meaning of level and what you need to do. Okay, now let's go for the classic pixel art. Let me start Adobe Photoshop. Give me a second. All right, now we're in Photoshop, and the way you need to do your work, I'm going to show you the difference. What you're doing is pixel art. It has anti-aliasing tool in it to make it look smoother in the corners, especially when it's rounded. All right. What you need to do is classic pixel art. It's explained in the lecture. You cannot use any anti-aliasing tool. So let me do a new one. Let's say, and I'm just going to do a very, so basically right here what you're doing is that you are using the brush. So let me get a color. I'll take a black that works best to demonstrate, and I'll make a stroke like that. That's what you're doing. What I'm asking you is you can't use that for an exercise. You gotta use only the pencil. So with the pencil, if I do the same thing, you're gonna see the difference right away. You see the difference how it is? It's a lot sharper in its stroke. Let's zoom in. See the difference? Is that mine right here is sharp. It goes down to 1 pixels if we want to. I can just put 1 pixel. That's what I'm talking about. Alright? So very simple. Yours have what's called an anti-aliasing effect to it, which is a gradient that actually is created by the computer, by Photoshop, to make it look smoother. You can't do that in classic pixel art. It has to be done the second way, like that. So you can use only the crayon. You can use the selection tool. All right. You can use the actual marquee right here, but you gotta undo the anti-aliasing options. All right. And when after that, if you marquee a spot with the one properly set up on the option, you can use the bucket to fill it up. that you can, all right? But no tools that would be anti-alias, basically. That's what's going on. Even when you erase, right here, okay, you cannot use the regular brush erasing. You need to click on it, actually right here, and change to pencil. So you're doing something that is, you see if I erase that, if we zoom in, see how sharp it is. If I was doing it with the other one, the brush, look at the difference. See, we get that anti-aliasing tool again. All right, a little bit. That creates a little smoother, basically, edge. Okay, so make sure that you work like that. That's the only way, basically, to do it. All right, for that exercise. Now, let me make a new canvas. Because I know you're a good artist. I want you to do it a certain way. So let's say right here, and you take anti-aliasing out. You're making a sphere. All right, and let me put some red in it. And at your light, and I'll make it yellow. Come from here. Well, we don't see it very well. Let me put something else. I'll put blue. Well said. And we made it much bigger. That's why also. Why? Yeah, because I'm selected. Let me deselect. Right here. Okay, that's your light banging like that. Now to shade it, what you do is you select a red that is lighter for the actual let me reselect so I don't pass it. All right, for the actual specular, so obviously the stronger right here. All right, so you would shade it like that, and maybe like that, and maybe a little bit more right here. All right, for that, and then you would do the inverse for the darker, for the shade. So we go real shade right here, and you can start small right here and creep in. All right, you obviously will do it. Take your time to do that. But now, what's very important is that actually, let me repick that color just a second, because that should be more like that. Anyway. All right, and that would be smaller right there. But anyway, what I want you to do then is to lower down the size, all right, to 1 pixel and zoom in. And you are going to interweave your work, all right? So you are going to make a bunch of them first, and then so you can do a bunch of them, and then you go less and less, and that will actually make it look smoother. And you do the inverse after that. You select the red, all right, and you go in and you do the exact inverse. And I'm doing it very well. Take your time. You put more at first, all right, and less after that when it goes in. What it does, it will smooth out the transition when you look at it, all right? So take your time, do it well, interweave well, and it's a pretty good trick. It'll make you work like that, all right? So it'll make it more organic. So that's what I want you to do, basically. That's pretty much it, okay? Make sure you're one thing actually, make sure that when you do your outline of your character, all right, you actually make it well balanced. So 1, maybe 2, and maybe 3 if you want a circle, and then back to 2, and then maybe 1 after that. You know what I'm saying? So you'll have something that will be nice and efficient like that. So clean it up well. Okay? Have a good one. Let me know if I can help you more.